What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Today I kind of just want to talk about like talking to sellers, and just kind of going over like building your guys' business, building rapport. It's really, really key. So the real like two main things that everybody in this mentorship and doing wholesaling should really get excited about is talking to motivated sellers. There's endless opportunities if you're in front of enough sellers, you know what I mean? So there's two ways to really like blow up your business, right? It's just pour gasoline on your leads and just like get crazy amounts of leads. And then there's also the other way, which is basically upping your conversion rate. So every time you guys are going to be talking to sellers, you got to build rapport. And you just got to be like a human being, you know what I mean? And like these people, yes, we want to buy their house. But building rapport is just a really important thing because, I'm getting more into doing like subject twos, creative financing, and wholesaling deals. And like, whenever I'm doing any of these kind of stuff and talking to these sellers, like if I have a relationship with them and like, I check in with them, I call them, I text them, we kind of make some laughs.
All that is ready to throw out.
Then we're really going to be able to go a lot further in the conversation and get things done. And like, you might even be able to be more honest with people. So how do you like build rapport? Like, obviously we have like our 4 questions that we really want to get answered. Like the main things I care about is like, is anybody living in the house? What's the condition of the house? And then like, how are we going to sell it? Like, what's the best price? So when you're just talking to people though, like just shoot the shit, like with them, especially you don't want to come off robotic. I know I got a guy who was cold calling for me for a while and he would just like sound like he was like a customer service agent. And that's not the person that you want to be when you're talking to these sellers. You want to try and dig into that next level of conversation with them. Obviously, if you're just cold calling, it's kind of hard to build rapport, but you really want to get good at just starting a random conversation, cracking some jokes, whatever you need to do to really break through to the next level with the seller. So like having that conversation, having them in your phone, when you're having a call with them, if it's the first time you've talked to them, make sure that they save your phone number in their phone so that when you call, they answer and they know that you're somebody who's interested in buying their property. But building rapport is like really key to conversions and stuff like that. And like, I guess let's go a little deeper. Whenever you guys are trying to wholesale their property, if you're going to say that, you're going to buy it, that you're kind of going into sticky territory. So you want to say that your business, you buy houses with your business, or you have a couple partners that buy properties. And you want to just make them understand that quite a few random people might be coming over to their house, not just you. And the only way that you're really going to get to that level of conversation is if you can be friendly and just bullshit and become a master of BSing with people, just small talk, find out about their family though. And the best way to do this is in like their life or why they're selling their house. It's just ask like open-ended questions, and if they allow you to say, oh yeah, I've got a bunch of kids, then you can say, oh yeah, kids are crazy or whatever. Or if they like football, then you can start talking about football. If they like fishing, try and find something that you can connect with them on. You can ask them, why are you selling it? What do you do for a living? Or do you like the area? Or like, can you tell me a little bit about the neighborhood? Like there's all kinds of small talk that you can have, but you want to find something that can stick in their mind about you that they'll remember, right? Something like, my thing is Bears real estate. So I would just say, yeah, I do Bears real estate. Like we buy houses, even if like Bears lived in it, and like it's stupid shit like that. But you want something that makes them remember a little bit about you more than that you're just some asshole wholesaler who's like trying to get them at the dirtiest, cheapest price ever. Because like if you can actually build a relationship with them, that's when you can really start to take your business to the next level of communicating with them and getting them to sign paperwork and allowing people to come into their house. You want to basically have a decent conversation and still be able to do business. So I hope that was kind of helpful. I just think you guys, again, like more leads is going to be key for more success or higher conversion rates. The way you're going to have a higher conversion rate is by being a human being and having have a plan. Like you're going to talk to these people, and your number one goal obviously is to figure out what their price is and have them sign your purchase agreement. But number two, try and understand something about them, try and figure out what their motivation for selling is, why they have to sell. Because if they don't close right away, maybe like in the next like 30 days, they'll call you back when they have to pay the mortgage again and be like, okay, I'm ready to sell. And they'll remember you. And it's always good to, you know, follow up, set dates when you're going to call them, and just try and be professional. And I think those are some really key things that everybody should be learning. And we'll try and do some more, you know, next week I'll have my, my studio done, but I also ordered a speakerphone. So I'll be able to do some live cold calling so you guys can hear me having conversations with sellers, and stuff like that. So that's kind of just one idea that I wanted to talk about. And then the next one is just kind of, you know, like the three things that you guys really need to be doing to build this business is talking to sellers, talking to cash buyers, and then networking with other wholesalers, networking with other real estate agents, because they're the ones that are already on the grind. They're doing the dirty work. So it's just a key part of figuring out what you're going to do to talk to sellers, what you're going to do to talk to buyers, and then what you're going to do to network and connect with people. So I think you guys should just kind of think about the best ways that you're going to do it. If it's just going to be Facebook, if it's just going to be text messaging, you know, whatever it is. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But who has questions or who's dealing with stuff, or, you know, what do you guys got going on? Otherwise, I got a couple other things I can share with you, but I just want to open it up a little bit. Anybody?
Yeah.
We're talking with sellers.
So
Yep.
I was talking to a seller this morning on the phone, and I was talking to him about his property, and he seemed really interested in selling it, but he said his son lived in there and he couldn't get him out. Is there any way that you can like do anything about that? I know it's like family stuff and like sometimes a little touchy, but is there any way good to go about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing that I would do is I would just talk to the buyers, and I would tell the buyer, like, we might have to do a keys for cash. That's what a lot of people will do. Will the buyer, if they want to buy it, if you can get it for a good deal, they'll basically go there and offer the son like $1,000 to move out. You know, like, I'll give you $1,000 if you're willing to clean up the property, and get out of here by the 30th. Otherwise, you know, we're going to call the cops or something like that.
Okay.
And that's kind of the thing that I've found is the most like healthy way without getting into a whole bunch of BS. You know what I mean? So that might be an option. Yeah. Otherwise, it just depends on the state and depends on the law. And if you got to get like an eviction notice and all kinds of stuff, it can be a real pain in the ass. But that would be kind of the route that I would try first.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah. So question is, so in those wholesaling groups, I heard that it's better to follow groups that have around 10K or less. I don't know if that's true. You just want to find ones that are active, and not spammy. Like, there's a lot of really like whack spam wholesaling groups that are just like people that are in like foreign countries saying they'll skip trace for you and a bunch of dumb stuff. So don't pay for any of those leads, guys. Like, use Batchleads or Facebook or PropStream. If you're going to pull lists, don't buy them from people unless, you know, you've heard somebody else work with them before. All right. Was that your question? Nicholas?
Yeah, that was one of my questions. The other question is, okay, so when you join the like those groups, right?
Yeah.
To post something, they're what are you selling? You know, I can't post, you know, that I'm not selling anything. I'm trying to buy. You know,
yeah, you go to the
discussion
tab.
Discussion tab. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where you'll post your thing.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you.
No worries. All right. Who else has questions? Luke?
I got a question. I don't know if somebody had one.
Yeah, go for it.
Just real quick, I got banned. This is I could figure this out on my own, but since nobody's asking, I got banned. My post got banned on Craigslist yesterday. Is that just like, do you know if that's just like that post, or does that mean I'm banned in general? It was just, I think
that's just that post. That's just that post, man. Like, Craigslist is kind of a bitch nowadays. They either want you to pay money or they want you to like fight them or something.
Yeah, because I posted the same thing like a couple days before, nothing happened. I've been posting for like 3 weeks, nothing happened, but that last one got somebody must have flagged it, I guess, or something.
Yeah, I would just give it a day and then try again, or post in like a different area for a little while.
All right.
Yeah, Craigslist is kind of hit or miss, but every deal that I've gotten from Craigslist has been a really big deal. So it's kind of one of those things that, you know, stick with it. You're not going to see, you know, in Facebook, if you guys are posting in groups and you're not getting any engagement right away, you got to move on to a different Facebook group. But in Craigslist, I would just keep trying, you know, as much as you can think about it, you know, because every time I've gotten a deal on Craigslist, it's like a serious person, and it's made me, you know, some money. So it's been pretty cool.
Cool.
All right, guys. Another cool thing that I've recently figured out for our business is this like little, it's pretty simple, but it's helped me stay organized. And it's allowed me to actually grow our business a lot. So it's just Trello. But I've been trying to figure out like a good platform so we could keep our whole business together. And we brought on a person who's specifically going to be our dispatch person. So actually this house right here, we just got under contract. So I get to move it over here. Ta-da! So it's pretty cool, right? So I have it set up. These are JV deals that we're working on and selling. You guys might see some houses you have. These are houses that we have under contract that we have not put on my website yet. And then these are houses that we're actively marketing. And this one in Knoxville, we just got a cash buyer today. But having everything kind of organized in one place that I can just click on it and then look and say, okay, we got it under contract for 38. This is the seller's phone number. It's a 4-bed, blah, 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 potentially 125K. And then we need more pictures, but we just don't have pictures of this property. And one big thing that we need to add, he did add it, access code. So that's cool. So we need to, you know, property address, occupancy, condition. But what's cool is like, so me and my acquisition guy, we're basically cold calling and text blasting like crazy. And as soon as we get something under contract, we're basically putting it into Trello. And we already have another guy who's strictly focused on dispatch. And that's like his job. And he's just somebody that we've done deals with. And like what I've been showing you guys with Batchleads and Batchdialer is like, it's really working to get a lot of deals, but we're getting overwhelmed because, you know, I've got a lot of properties. Like I've got properties under contract that I don't have in here yet. And that's my fault, but at least I have a place now I can put them in there, and then I can like put as much information as I can. And then I have somebody else who's already focused on dispatch, who's already focused on calling buyers and making things happen. So I just wanted to share this with you guys to show you like, this is pretty sick. Like I don't think it's too expensive, but once you get a little overwhelmed with like too many properties or trying to keep everything organized in your head, this has really allowed us to do it. Cause all of us can come in here and look at it. And we can just kind of go from there. So that was something kind of cool. I think there's a lot of people popping in here. So anybody else have questions or something that they're working on or anything? Nope, nothing. And then like another thing, you guys, is like start thinking, or Luke, you got your hand up? What's up?
How far away from, you know, your targeted marketing area can you go like out of town? You know, I find I'm joining groups for my marketing area, and then it's getting now harder to find groups. So like how far away or out of town, quote unquote, should we be looking?
Like no more than an hour.
No more?
Like less than an hour. Because like there's reasons that a lot of these cash buyers won't be able to buy your deal is because their contractors won't drive that far, and it'll fuck you up. Like, but if it's like a big city, you know, you could maybe go a little bit further out, but I wouldn't go further than an hour out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No worries.
I got a question.
What's up, man?
So I see when you pulled up your thing on your platform just now that you had deals basically all over the place.
Yeah.
Do you suggest that for us as we're still new? I've been in for almost 2 months now. I'm almost 2 months.
In Georgia, right?
Yeah. So do you suggest us hitting up different areas? Because my plan was to do Savannah for a while and then move to somewhere like Charleston, or you recommended Macon, I get yesterday when we talked.
Yeah.
So to kind of bounce around to maybe 3 or 4 different places starting out, and then see what I can get, make a little bit of money, and try and expand a little bit more from there. I don't know if that's a good idea. I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, I mean, do you live in Savannah?
15 minutes away. Literally
Yeah,
15 minutes
I
away.
think Savannah is such a dope market, man. Like if you could plant some roots there and then go
Mhm.
out, that's kind of what I would recommend.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's kind of a loaded question. Like if you're not getting results where you're at, it's kind of your job as the business owner to decide. Well, if it's like I would try and max out everything you can possibly do in Savannah, and then I would basically say, well, is this where I'm really going to make a lot of money, or should I go to another spot? It's like as your own business, you got to kind of decide like, if it's not working here, I've done a lot, let's try somewhere else, because like wherever you really focus, you should be able to get a deal. But Savannah's hard, but it's like if you're there, like you live it in a gold mine. Like I think for real estate, like
Yeah,
even the land is like worth a lot.
Yeah, and that's honestly why I'm really trying to stick with it. Like I invested in Batchleads, and I was going back over some of the wholesaling videos from the mini course, and I'm going to go back through some of the ones from the other course also. But one thing he said in one of the videos was like, if you're going to use something, give it a good 90 days of consistent effort. And if you're not going to give it, if you don't have the money, or you're not going to give it that good 90 days of consistent effort, then just don't bother with it. So I've been doing a mixture of driving for dollars, and like I said, I just got the Batchleads. I'm going to take my driving for dollars list and drop it in the Batchleads and see if I can text blast those people. And like I said, I've been throwing numbers out there, but the thing I keep getting back is, a lot of people just they want these crazy numbers. And I was talking to a buyer. I talked to a couple buyers today, and they're just like they're honestly on the same thing. He was like, he's not buying anything for like the next 2 or 3 years because of how the prices have gone up, and everybody just wanted crazy prices. So that's why I was asking, if I should stay or if I should, move. But I have a buyer that I'm supposed to be calling tonight when he gets home, because the house is in his wife's name, to see if I can get it, get it under contract. And it's an inheritance, but to see if I can get it under contract and find a buyer for it.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely do driving for dollars in Savannah. I think that's going to be the route that would get you the fastest, biggest deal possible. Because like if everybody can't buy properties, man, these real estate investors, they're just going to be sitting there twiddling their thumbs, getting pissed off. But if you can bring them a deal in one of these markets, you're going to be able to make a lot of money. You know what I mean? They're going to want to fight you for it almost. That's kind of what you want in a good thing. So, I mean, that's what I would do. I would drive for dollars there. And then maybe I would, since you're getting batch, I would try expanding to like that place we were talking about, Macon or whatever. I don't know how to say it.
Macon.
Yeah. I've heard really good things about that as a virtual market. And just kind of going from there. But I would keep talking to buyers, because there's going to be a buyer. And it's like, it's important when you're talking to these buyers to understand where they're at. Like if he's not going to buy for the next 2 to 3 years, that just means he's kind of scared. There's going to be some other investors that are going to buy and are going to make money over the next 2 or 3 years. But you just need to find out, like, if I brought you a deal, like at like 70% ARV right now, is that something you're interested, or would you pay even 80 or 90? Like, just kind of find out what their business's goals are and what they're doing.
Well, and I did that. So, the other 2 buyers that I talked to, they were like, we're trying to get it at this price. I think he said like 70 and down if it's rent ready. If it's rent ready and it's 2-bedroom, he's like 70. If it's rent ready and it's 3-bedroom, I think he said 90. And if it's rent ready and it's 4-bedroom, he was like 100, 110, somewhere up in there. But he gave me like specific streets and specific areas and areas to avoid. So I kind of got, and that's what I was going to do tomorrow since I'm off, was to drive around and see if I can find those areas and find distressed properties or properties for sale or anything that looks vacant in those areas, and just drop the address in the Batchleads and see what I come up with.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty good. He sounds a little picky, but it sounds like at least you got a map of what you can do to bring to him, and then just keep building those connections. Basically, keep talking to other people in Savannah, find out what they're looking for, and then I would kind of focus trying to bring him a deal within the next week or two, and then also explore your options on what market you would go into that would get you some quick cash, so you could come back to Savannah with more money and do more marketing in your area. You know what I mean? Like that. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Like Mackin, I mean, Birmingham is on fire. It's a lot easier than Atlanta. Charlotte, South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina is right there too, which is pretty easy. And Florida's right there too. So you're in the middle of a bunch of amazing markets. But I would recommend you keep reverse engineering it by talking to these buyers, finding out exactly what they want, and then go with that. And then just
speaking of Alabama, I have a buyer who I was in New Mexico trying to get him to buy a property in Mexico. He's trying to get rid of all his properties.
Yeah.
So he said he has some properties in Alabama if anybody's interested.
Cool. He's looking to sell them?
Yep.
Yeah, you could sell them for him too, but he probably wants top dollar. But you could say, "I'll find you a buyer," because we got hedge funds right now.
I was going to call him back next week and see if he's interested in selling now or later, or what's the deal with them, and if they're occupied or if they're vacant, and get some more information on them if he's willing to sell them now.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty good. But I would just keep
like
that
I said,
guy in your pocket.
I was trying not to bounce around too much and trying to focus on one area, before I just start bouncing around too much.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't like bouncing around, but the way that our business is working right now is we go strictly for pain point properties in certain areas. We hit them all, and then we move on to the next spot. That way we're always talking to people that are looking to sell their house. But it's each their own. I would try and stick it out in Savannah. I mean, I'm in Arizona, so we do quite a few deals here in Arizona, but Arizona is super competitive, which is why I kind of like to go into other people's markets. I call it like drinking other wholesalers' milkshakes. I'll basically come into Atlanta, talk to all the pre-foreclosures and inherited properties, see if I can get as many deals as I can, and then I'll move on to the next spot. But when you're just starting out, you need to get a few deals under your belt. And then once you get really good at talking to sellers, closing deals, then you can really start to go anywhere. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I got you. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Who else has questions? I see some hands.
Oh, sorry. Anybody have a question?
You're talking, man. What's up?
Okay. Yes. I had a question on as far as the for the Facebook marketing, right? As you're joining these groups, is there a certain amount of or is there a way you can get creative with these posts? Because after a while, some of them might be very redundant and everybody's posting the same thing. Is it just everybody's going to be posting a lot of similar posts, because I want to stand out, not be, drowned out with everybody else's posts.
Yeah, make them your own, man. Get creative with it. Just take 30 minutes and sit down and look at them and adjust them to sound more like you and sound more authentic. I mean, whenever I put anything out there for everybody to use, I want them to basically make it their own and not just copy exactly what I'm doing. But what can you do? So, I mean, the things that I always make sure is whatever town or whatever city, I put the name of it in the post. And then if you have more time, really look on what the average house is selling for, and then what you would be willing to pay for a deal in those properties. And whenever you put a number in the name of the area, it's going to stick out in people's heads. They're going to see, oh, he's willing to pay 150,000 for a house in this area. I want 150,000 bucks. I'm going to send him a message. That's one way you can stick out. Another way is you can say, I just got finished with my last fix and flip, or I just got finished with my other investment property and we're looking to buy another one. That way people know you're serious. They know you're in business. And then just comment and talk to everybody that you can in the comments and stuff like that. But yeah, you should definitely get creative with it and tweak it to make fit you, I guess.
Now, based on those prices, am I determining that?
Yeah, you got to determine that. You got to determine that by your market. You can just go to redfin.com and look it up, what houses are selling for in your area.
Redfin, okay, and then you're showing me right there, and then just look up like the average sales price there. Or?
Yeah, and then you just basically do 50% in your posts. So you would go to Redfin, you go to Market Insights. In Atlanta, the average house is 360,000, and then you just say whatever half that is, and that's what you would put in your posts. And then you'll probably get quite a few people, and then you might have to move it down or move it up. So 50% of the median sale price should get you some interested people. It just depends, but that's kind of what I would do to pick out your numbers. And then obviously once you know your market a little better, you'll kind of go from there.
Okay.
You'll get a better feel for the numbers.
Oh, I forgot what question I was going to ask you right now. I was going to ask, it'll come back to me, but I had it on the top of my head. I just forgot. Oh, there you go. On the Facebook groups, some of them, they ask you, are you going to be, in real estate? And some of them, they I guess they don't want anybody who's in real estate or whatever. What do you do in those instances? You just find other groups, or?
Yeah, you just move on, find a different group, or you can try posting in them, but they'll probably kick you out.
Okay. And then, okay. All right. That was it.
Cool. All right. Who else has questions?
Hey, I had a quick question if I could jump in, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
So I just got literally as of 5 minutes ago, just got a call about one of the ads that I put on Craigslist. And this is my first time getting any callback or anything. And just trying to figure out where's the best place to go on the app for I guess verbiage and everything as far as, how to talk to them and things to ask for and that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try and make some more videos. I think Coach, whatever his name is, just did a video on like talking to sellers last week. Or he's going to do another one on Friday. I have a lot of videos. So when you come down here, like all my stuff is in marketing and lead generation.
Okay.
And I did some of these videos. Also, if you go to the main course, there should be a couple of videos in there, but like, let me see. I think I just called it like talking to sellers or getting sellers to sign or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, you can come in here. And if you make a post in the main thing, I'll look for them and I'll tag you in them. But the other one I was just gonna say is Coach Christian. Sorry, I forgot his name for a second. Damn it, I clicked on the same one. You can go to past training videos, and that should be able to get you to the one that he did last Friday or whatever. And he was basically going over conversations with sellers and stuff like that. But like what
Gotcha.
You just want to know kind of like how you should talk to them basically.
Yeah. Just, getting the process started. He reached out to me. Obviously, he's wanted me to put a number on it. He said his ARV. I don't know if you want to look it up and see, what would be the best offer for the place.
Put it in the chat.
Okay, let me see. Well, if I can figure out where the address is.
Yeah, if he's calling you, you just want to be like, hey, I like to buy houses. I need to know, is anybody living in it? What's the condition of the property? Why are they selling it? What's your motivation? And then price. Those are the key main things. But like I was saying at the beginning of the call,
can you say those again?
Yeah. So occupancy, is anybody living in it? That's kind of important. If there's a tenant, how much is the rent? If it's the owners, when would they be able to get out? When would they be able to move? What's the condition of the property? Because the condition is pretty key. You got to know, I ask people, is it in perfect? Is it good? Is it ugly? Is it scary? Those are my
this one's pretty ugly, I would say.
Yeah. Well, then when it's ugly, you need to know like how much, like whenever they say, oh, it needs a lot of work, I want them to kind of go into detail. I don't like, a lot of you guys will talk to the sellers and you'll want to know exactly every single crack and hole in the floor. But you basically just want to use whatever's wrong with it to come up with a ballpark number of repairs and then understand like, Is it going to be 20,000, 50,000, 60,000 for repairs?
So
then just have
based
that
on
conversation.
the Craigslist ad, he put needs 5 to 7K in rehab. It said asking price he was asking 40,000 and ARV was showing 75K.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can find the address for you. It doesn't look like it has one. Maybe I can put the link in the chat. Would that help?
Sure. And then, I mean, make sure he's not another wholesaler too. You know, ask him if he's the owner and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. How do I get to the chat? Okay. Let's see if this works for you. Okay.
Yeah.
I just put it in there.
Just be genuine, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Home for sale, investor special. Yeah, that already makes me think he's a wholesaler.
Yeah.
Calling all cash buyers and investors, definitely a wholesaler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've even seen this property. I think one of us has it under contract.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I think so. Maybe not. It's just that there's one in my mailbox for Gadsden, Alabama. So that'd be pretty cool.
Gotcha.
Asking 40,000. Wonder if you click this, does it show you anything? But yeah, have a conversation with them. Ask them like, hey, what's the deal? Yeah.
I mean, based off of what he said, I mean, with him being a wholesaler, I wouldn't want to buy from him, right?
No, I mean, you could JV it with him though. So there's always room to make a deal happen. I mean, this town in Alabama, I think, I don't know if it's a good market or not. I can't remember if it's near Birmingham or not. But if it's kind of, I think it actually is good. I forget. But it could just be good practice too to figure out, what people are, if they're a wholesaler or not. And if they are a wholesaler, like it's still good to network with wholesalers. There's nothing wrong with talking to other people that are in the business. You can be like, yeah, what markets are you in? Do you want a JV? Yeah. See, this one's like way far out in the middle of nowhere. So like Birmingham's here. I mean, this might still be a buy zone, but you would have to really find somebody over near here. I know Cedar Bluff is nice. But yeah, you really, in Alabama, you just want to focus on Huntsville, Birmingham, and then Mobile is pretty sweet, but you want to be on the good side of Mobile, which is over here, like Mobile. And I think they call it Florida Bama or something like that, which I thought was funny. But
I gotcha. Okay. But as far as JVing, I can just, I know there's a few things on the app for that, but so is it something that like, I know you're a wholesaler, I'm a wholesaler.
Yeah.
Let's work on a deal type thing, or?
Yeah, you would just say, hey, like I'll try and find the buyer for this deal. If you're interested in selling, we could split it 50-50. And I just realized I wasn't sharing my screen, so my bad, everybody. But yeah, I mean, here, I'll show everybody. So the reason we think it's a wholesaler is because the investor special. I mean, if you were a real old lady or something trying to sell your house, you wouldn't say investor special. I mean, maybe you would. Maybe they know like, oh, investors buy houses and I don't want to put any money into it. So that'd be a good deal. But I mean, the 40K is also kind of high for that specific part of Alabama if it needs work, So yeah. But yeah.
Okay.
So then basically you would just get on the phone with them, be like, hey, yeah, I could maybe find a buyer. And then when you basically find the buyer and you bring it to the table, you guys would split the profits. That's kind of how JV deals work.
Okay. All right.
So
all right, I'll give it a shot. Thank you.
No worries. I think Mark has a question.
Yes. Am I coming through all right?
You're a little quiet, but yeah.
Okay, I'll try to speak up. One of my main question is something I'm running into a lot is people overpricing their house. Like for instance, I talked to a couple of people today, and one person was wanting like 190 for a rehab property that needed to be totally gutted and would only be worth about 50, and that 50 completely rehabbed. And they were wanting like 190 for it. I mean, and that's a scene that I've seen replay over and over again since I've started this. I mean, granted, I'm pretty early on still, But how do you deal with that?
Well, I always ask them, how'd you get that number? And they have no fucking idea how they got that number. So they're going to tell you, that they looked it up on Zillow or something. And then you can say, well, look, Zillow is trying to make a profit. Like that's not a realistic number. So then you can really go on the phone call with them and kind of break down the comps and be like, look, like it looks like houses in this area are really only selling for this much. So I don't know what you want to do. But if I want to be your buyer, if you want to sell it, we're gonna have to be more in this ballpark. And instead of giving people like one number or whatever, you want to find out what number they have in their head first, and then ask them, how'd you get that number? And then to kind of walk them down back to reality. And then just follow up with them. I mean, they could be getting it from other wholesalers or real estate agents or anything, but you can basically, to break, like tell them the truth, like just be bold and be like, well, that's not a realistic number. I'm seeing in your neighborhood houses are selling for, this much, and then that's if they were in top shape. You just told me that it needs a lot of repairs. I mean, if I have to do brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom, and the AC is broken, like that's going to be at least 20,000 out of my pocket. Like you see kind of what I'm saying? Like, so you gotta bring it back down to earth and build rapport. And then like, don't ever like just try and give them a number, like try and give them ballpark numbers. Try and give them, oh, it looks like a house down the road sold for about 60K. Is that something you could picture yourself doing? You see how I said, like, could you maybe do something like that? Or what if we were able to close at like 50,000 a day? Is that something you'd be willing to do? Oh God, no, I could never do it. Okay, well then what's the magic number, that you would be willing to sell for? It's easy for me to sound like this, but when you're on the phone with the seller, you'll probably forget all this stuff. But just remember, like, you got to get it for the best deal. They need to be more realistic, and like, stuff is expensive nowadays.
Yeah, got you. I had another question. I can't remember what it is, so I'll let somebody else ask one if they've got one.
Cool.
Well, I actually have a question about that. So,
yeah,
I believe Mark said that it needed to be gutted out. So would you just go by the property value, just by the land value, because the house needs to be gutted and just basically just be rebuilt? Do you go on that of just what the property value is, or
I would go on the ARV, and then like I would, I mean, basically I would figure out what the square foot of the house is, and then I would multiply the square foot by like $50 pretty much. And that will give me an estimate of how much it's going to really cost to totally fix up. And that's just a guess.
I've came across, houses that's boarded up. I've written down, the address. I've came across one that's caught on fire. I don't know if they stopped construction or not. It looks like they. I don't know, because the roof is burnt. But then they have, like when they're building the foundation, the type of, I don't know, there's like a little paper that's like over the drywall. Like it looks like it's in construction, but it hasn't been touched in a while.
Yeah, that'd be a good lead.
Something to look at. That's a good lead.
Yeah, I'd call them.
Okay.
I call them zombie houses, and I make a lot of money on those. I mean, whenever you're doing those, you just got to get it for as cheap as humanly possible. And you'll probably find out like either they bought it and they still owe money on it, or there's liens on it, or, they just want out pretty much, So it's a good opportunity to have a good conversation and figure out like, hey, I'd be interested in buying it. It looks like it needs a lot of work. What's the situation with that?
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Make sure it's in kind of like a decent neighborhood, I guess, if you will. If it's a piece of shit house and it's in the middle of nowhere, then it's good.
It is. It's in a good neighborhood. The houses over there. You can tell that people has been living over there for a long time.
Nice.
Because I live in in Georgia, in Jonesboro.
Oh yeah.
People keep their houses up, but there's particular houses that's over there that's boarded up, and this one is on a corner lot. Like it has a big a big lot on it. So that was one of my main. I was like, okay, I've heard houses that's been burnt down. That's a good lead. You know,
Yeah.
I heard they can make some good money. So
There's
that one right there is my. And another question on that on. Sorry, that's my son. Another one on that house in particular. I looked it up, but all I found was just the location, just the latitude and the longitude.
Yeah.
So I don't know how do I really look up the address for that?
Right. So, I mean, you can try and skip trace it. You can put a package on the front steps. I think Paul made a TikTok about that. You can put a note on the door.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah. You can put a note on the door. You can put a little door hanger that says, hey, we want to buy this property. Give me a call, and that's kind of like what I would do. I would try and skip trace it. You can really go down to like your whatever local like chamber of commerce or something, and you can ask who the owner of the property is, and they might give you a different address or a different phone number than skip tracing it. But I mean, that's pretty much what I would do is try and skip trace it, call those numbers, hit the taxes, put a fucking package on the door or whatever. And, see if you can find out who owns it or talk to the neighbors.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm going to butcher your name. Alessandro.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up, man?
Hey, I just wanted to ask, I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on like the Miami market, because I've been doing the Facebook, the $0 marketing for like a little bit now, but I haven't got any leads like at all. So
yeah, Miami is intense. Let's take a look at it.
I looked at Zillow or the Redfin for the competitiveness. It said it wasn't competitive, but I don't know about that.
No, Miami is competitive.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I can't even spell it. Might help if I do. There we go. Miami's crazy, but we're actually working on a deal right now in some like one of these outskirt towns of Miami. I never knew about this whole national forest thing, man, or wildlife. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like half the state.
Yeah. I mean, where's the stupid place that we have? Indytown, Coral Springs, Wellington. I mean, the main thing that I would try and focus on is some of these little cities around Miami. I mean, you can't just join the Miami Facebook groups. Like I think I did a thing yesterday where I was showing you guys like, you want to like actually look for Facebook groups that aren't just full of spam, that are actually like people that actually live there. And then
I see a lot of scam posts in mine.
Yeah, those are not the good groups. Those are not going to really link out to people, but you could try places like Weston, these things, whatever. Hollywood might be a good one, Miami Gardens. So don't just go straight for Miami Facebook groups.
Okay, so you think I should join a group to like these neighborhoods and then buy, sell, trade, whatever?
Yeah, and try and get that's what it was, Homestead. This is the one that we're gonna get. So try Homestead. And like when you're joining the groups, you want to look for like community chat. You want to look for obviously the yard sale, marketplace, buy, sell, trade. But like the thing we're looking for is like we're not looking to talk to a bunch of spam weird people that are selling weird shit. Like we want to talk to people that actually live in those towns. So like you got to think like if grandma wants to sell her bicycle tomorrow in town, like what Facebook group would she be selling her bike in? And like you gotta like just find community chat groups is really a big one that I've been able to use in Arizona to get some crazy deals, because like you actually want to try and get in front of people that actually live in these places. And then if you live in Miami, I would do driving for dollars. I'd be pulling some lists. We did there's a lot of pre-foreclosures in Miami right now, so I would pull that. I would do a lot of liens. I mean, that's how we're getting most of our deals in Florida is just liens. Like we got 2 deals under contract just through looking for liens, and those both are probably going to eventually turn into some money. We're actually negotiating the liens down for one of the deals, and hoping to make we could make 100,000 if we can get the people that have the liens cut in half, because the guy doesn't want any money. He just can't leave the state of Texas until the liens are off and he sells that house, which is a really weird situation, but that's kind of how we make money. So that, I mean,
Jeez.
I hope that was helpful. I would try and like,
Yeah.
even some of these.
I actually did try to join like one of these smaller community groups, but I find that usually like they're private, and then like in the rules they'll have like, oh, no real estate like listings or anything like that. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I can't join.
Yeah, you'll find other ones though. Whatever this one is, Hialeah. Yeah. I mean, anything on the ocean over here is going to be gold. So if you just start joining the little ones, Fort Lauderdale is huge. Like that would be a big one.
Yeah.
All these stuff are just like Boca Raton. They're good lists. I mean, start trying to get more creative with the groups that you join, and then like post in different groups every day. And then when you finally find a group that is going to let you post, like pin it to the top so that you know that that's a good group, and keep posting it and keep going through there.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Who else has a question? Anybody?
Yeah. Hey, Robert.
What's up?
Sorry, Kevin. I saw you raise your hand, but I beat you. No, I just wanted to talk a little bit about like negotiating. Like how much of your sales, like the deals you closed, do you feel like you're actually doing like pretty strong negotiation, or do you feel like that's not?
I mean, at the like when we finally get a number out of them and we're gonna put it on contract, like I'm negotiating, $5,000 to $10,000, like, and like each $1,000 is pretty big to me because that's potentially money in my pocket. But I'm not like trying to gut people. I really want to understand what their motivation for selling is, what number they're trying to sell for, and like where we can have a win-win kind of happen, because like if I like the deals that I've made the absolute most amount of money, I've gotten the seller to give me their number first, and then I've just like ran with it and like closed like as fast as I humanly possibly can. And those are the biggest deals that I get. But you do got to have some tact and some level of like understanding of what number you want, what number they're at, and then how we can basically meet maybe in the middle to make a deal happen. Because I mean, we also get a lot of houses under contract that we can't close because we were too nice, and that's a pain in the ass. Everybody, it's cool to be nice, but you got to be kind of blunt, and you got to just like, just tell them like, look, I need to be around here. Otherwise we don't have a deal, and I'm going to walk, like, don't be afraid to say, maybe I'm not your buyer. I know it's hard when we're all just starting out and we're like, oh, we just want to close these deals, but kind of catches them off guard. Be like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be the right buyer for you because I need to be around here. But we buy houses all the time. I sure would love to pick this one up, but we're going to have to be in this ballpark. I mean, I feel like we're so close to getting a deal done, but you just got to work with me a little bit, and just kind of shit like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think once I do some more live cold calls, I'll try and make a bunch of videos for you guys to help you. Like, because I mean, like, I'm having pretty casual conversations. I'm just being myself. And then when we finally get down to the numbers, I basically just say like, look, I need to be around here, or let me go talk to my finance guy. And then I'll come back. I'll be like, yeah, look, my finance guy says we have to be at this number if we're going to do this deal. Like, can you please work with me? Always have a heavy. That's kind of one of the big things for negotiating. It's like, I don't know, 2 years ago, I would say, oh yeah, my dad really wants to buy it, but I don't think he's going to go for this. We're going to have to be more around here, and then like, my business partner or the fund, the trust fund or whatever, not trust fund, but whatever the other word is, hedge fund or whatever fund is trying to buy this property. Like, we're going to have to be around these numbers. And I'd really like to make this deal happen. What do you think the best you can do is? And then just shut up. The key thing is just keep asking them, if they can do it better on the price. And then eventually you'll get to that bottom number, and once you're there, you can just try and get it under contract. And remember, like, once you have it under contract, if they said that the house is in good condition and then you send people over there and it's a piece of shit, then you're able to come back totally within your rights and negotiate it down again. So it doesn't have to just be like one number, end all be all, so you can basically get it under contract for a little bit higher than you want, and then send buyers. Once you have a buyer's number, you can come back to them and be like, look, it's not exactly what you said it was, but we do have something that we could work out if you'd be willing to sell for this. And a lot of times they'll take it, because they want to get rid of the property. So, and it's also good to not waste a lot of time. Don't fall in love with every deal, but try and do some negotiating, I guess, but don't overthink it.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. All right, who else?
Yeah, I got a question.
What's that?
Okay, so I'm in St. Louis. I'm having a hard time finding motivated sellers, and I'm doing the $0 marketing method. I'm cold calling.
Yeah.
Finding tons of cash buyers, and they're telling me what they want, where they want, what AVR they're looking for. Do you think it'd be a smart idea to, not a smart idea, but I've seen a lot of cash buyer or sellers, no, I'm sorry, wholesalers selling, but they find the cash buyers. And
Yeah, I would just start JVing, man. That'd be the fastest way to get some deals under your belt. Would be talk to the buyers, bring the buyers some good deals, and JV them. So I mean, that's kind of what I would do. Where the fuck is St. Louis? So there it is. I don't know why it pulled me all the way over there. St. Louis is a cool market though. I mean, it's Midwest. The houses aren't too crazy, and if you're talking to buyers, like that's good. So then you can just go into these Facebook groups and ask, like, hey, like I've got a buyer who might be interested in this property. Can we take a look at it or have a conversation and just kind of go from there?
Got you.
A lot of liens. Could be a good list. Could be calling tired landlords. So yeah, there's a lot of tired landlords. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would try and JV some deals. St. Louis has always seemed like a pretty sweet market to go after, though. So I think you're in a good spot. So I would just try and make some more connections and keep going.
Super competitive, and it's just nobody wants to sell their price for discounted price, of course. But
right.
Everybody's trying to buy and not so much sell.
Yeah, I mean that's why you get paid the big bucks to filter through the BS and find them a property. So I mean that's kind of the cool thing is there's a lot of these little towns. Like find out how far out these buyers will go, and you could target Chesterfield. With the Facebook marketing for sure. St. Charles, Chesterfield, whatever this little one is, Fluorescent, I think. Those have been some pretty decent spots. You don't want to go too far on the boonies, but find out how far they're looking to buy properties. And then you can start targeting a little bit further outside of St. Louis. And then you can kind of walk it back, and just staying consistent, I think is going to get you where you want to go. I mean, that's kind of what I would do. But yeah, keep relationships with those cash buyers. I mean, I make a lot of money doing JV deals, and it's because I've built a large amount of cash buyers that I have in my phone that I can just call them up and be like, hey, I got a new deal. Is this something you'd be interested in? Yeah, St. Peter's, St. Charles, O'Fallon, like Chesterfield. Chesterfield's a good one. I mean, that's kind of where I would go, is like this little outer ring of cities around St. Louis, especially for the $0 marketing. So I would be joining all these little city towns, buy and chat and, groups and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I would do.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and maybe get a second device and just up your $0 marketing posts, or even more devices than that.
Probably a day one question though, but what is a JV deal again?
It's a joint venture, so you guys will be splitting. One of you brings the seller, one of you brings the buyer, and then you split the profits 50-50.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Or you have more people and you daisy chain the shit out of it. But you can make these contracts say pretty much anything you want. You just want to make sure that everything's going to close. And when you start JVing stuff, it's kind of better to have an LLC to, just in case your partner or something is doing weird shit that you don't know about. But they're really good ways to get your first deal and start making some money. Anybody else got a question? Well, hands up.
Yeah, I do again.
Yeah, what's up?
I got one again. Okay. All right. So I'm really new at this. It's been about like 3 weeks, but man, I'm telling you, with this computer shit, I'm I'm like really old school. Everything was like paperwork, me growing up. The last time that I touched a computer was probably like 2000, maybe two. So what is your best advice on, trying to figure out everything, especially with doing like the PAs, just what is your advice on that? Because that's what I'm having a hard time at, and with my, would it be best to do is like do the speed for leads, just to get my hands on, because I'm really a hands-on type of person, and then I can learn from there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're hands on, I would do driving for dollars, because then you just do everything in person. You don't need to, I mean, that's what I would do, but I don't know where you live. Is the high
Georgia,
speed for lead
once
is
again.
Yeah, Georgia. I mean, you could probably find some good deals in Georgia just for driving for dollars. I mean, that's real hands on. It doesn't take too much technology. You bring them the paperwork, they sign it, you drive it to the title company. I mean, that's the old school way, but I mean, you just got to fill out contracts with HelloSign or DocuSign and just get used to it. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing I can say is get used to it and post it
basically,
on
I just need to
Facebook.
practice. I need to
Yeah.
go, because I'm in the mentorship period.
Right.
So I'm in that. So, and there's so many things inside the mentorship. So it's like, where do I go?
Yeah. I mean,
to try to figure that, because I'm telling you, when it was either truck driving and warehouse for me. So, and I've always wanted to get into real estate, but just the other career just took me in a different way, and I just never got on a computer, man. I had a laptop. My mom bought me a laptop probably like back in 2000 or something. I used it twice. I was never. So what is your advice at that? Because I'm having a hard time. Because I know that I got some leads, and I know that there's some houses where I got leads and stuff. It's just, if I find the leads, the paperwork on trying to send these people, like trying to send these people the paperwork like via email, or like when I'm on the computer trying to download and try to DocuSign. Maybe I should take a course, huh? That's what I'm thinking. I know that sounds funny, but
yeah, man, you just got to do it, man. You just got to. I mean, nobody likes filling out contracts. Nobody likes any of that shit. You just got to have that. Like, this is what's going to get me the money. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to figure shit out if it's going to put some money in your bank account. And I mean, it's not the hardest thing to figure out DocuSign or HelloSign. You just got to play around with it and just have the patience that you're going to suck at it at first, but you'll get it. I mean, I hate contracts.
Okay.
I hate them. I'm not good at them. I just got good at them because I had to make some money, to understand what I'm doing. So and then just kind of focus on what you're good at. If you're good at talking to people, then just talk to people and find like a cousin or something to do all your computer stuff for you. You know what I mean? There's ways
well, I have
to.
my wife. I got my wife for that. She finally has some days off. Because she worked in the hospital, so she finally had some days off. I'm like, look, I need to figure out how to, download this. She was like, maybe you need to do a PDF. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck a PDF is, but we gonna work at it.
Totally, man. You just gotta.
So
Nicholas, if I can,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm listening.
I can do your computer stuff. If you want to JV deals, I can support you on that, and also help you find buyers and do all that. Because I want to spread. I'd love to get more leads coming in, because I'm like focused on one area, and maybe that's what you got to do, is just team up or something. So I'm willing.
Yeah, I have to. I would rather team up. I mean, all money is good money, and that's what I learned from what Mr. Hamza said. It's like, focus on the money. Whether if you basically just have to split it with somebody, but it's starting to build it. But you know, once I get my hands on something and I learn how to do it, I can work with it. And I'm willing to go out, and do what I need to do. And it looks like this really is a big market, and like right now, like the United States is huge and there's a lot of people in it and there's a lot of houses that needs to be sold, bought and sold. There's a lot of money to be made out there. So it's like, hell, let's go get it. I just need some help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
a
willing to
software
go out
engineer.
there. I'm willing to go out there and do the footwork, and which I have. Like, I have a lot of boarded up houses, some houses that caught on fire. I just don't know how to do the paperwork.
Yeah. I would really focus on what you can do, man, and just double down on that. Getting at least driving around. Like Georgia's a hot market right now. If you can find some,
Yeah, it is, man. I'm
weird
telling you,
properties
it's hot
like
out
that.
there. It's hot out there. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm from California, and the California market is even going even crazier.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's houses being sold out there. I mean, is ridiculous.
Mhm.
People are buying houses out there for like 4K, and they're flipping it for like 7.
Yeah, but I would recommend
within
everybody
like a
everybody
couple
should
years.
be teaming up. Everybody should be working together because, like you were
Yeah,
saying,
I
all
want to
money
team
is good
up.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so squat up and connect to each other, send some messages, hold each other accountable, come up with the plan. One person drives for dollars, the other person skip traces and calls or something like that, and you can really start to build a lot of money
Yeah.
or a lot of business. I mean,
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys about that.
hey, no problem, man. I'm sorry you're having a hard time with the DocuSign thing, but I'm not a
No,
DocuSign. Like, I don't know everything. Even if I just show you how I do it, like I don't even know how I do it. I just put it in like Word and type shit and upload it. So
it's a learning process, because I might be new at it now, but like 3 months from now, I could be good at it. You know what I'm saying? You have to give it
yeah,
time.
exactly.
And that's what Hamza says. He says it. Give it 3 months because you can learn a lot within 3 months.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Things could
All right,
be
who else is
repetition, So
yeah,
I
who else
appreciate
has
you. Thank you.
no problem, man. Who else has some questions though?
I have a
Yeah,
question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Nah, you good. Go ahead.
Hey, quick question. So I don't know if you're familiar with like the Genesee area in Michigan. It's like near Flint. If you think that that's like a good area to start marketing in.
I don't know. Can you drink water there yet? I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully.
Those areas like near Detroit, you really want to find the buyers, man, and find out because I know there's so much opportunity up there, but then there's also a whole bunch of piece of shit houses that are in really whack neighborhoods that you'll get under contract. And you just need to ask your buyers like what zip codes they're buying in, what's their buy box, and then go from there. Because there's tons of houses out there. And we've got a couple students that are doing really good with multifamilies in Detroit. So find your buyers, go in Facebook groups or Michigan, whatever, or whatever the area is, and start asking like who's a dispo wholesaler, who's a cash buyer, and then just start having conversations with them, and then find that area out, and then go nuts there because there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Okay, because I was debating on doing either Detroit or the Genesee area. They're about hour 20 apart from each other. Like Genesee's like about an hour 20 north. So I just wasn't sure if I know the population's like 400,000, so I wasn't sure if that was a good area. So
yeah, try that area. I mean, I would do both, and then whichever cash buyers you find first, I'd go from there.
Right. Awesome. Thanks, man.
No problem.
All right, so this might be kind of a weird question, but every call I've been on, I haven't really heard you guys hit on the whole accountability and accountability partner thing. So I've been filling out the weekly accountability thing. I've missed it like maybe twice since I've been here, but I've been busy. Besides filling that out and sending that to our accountability partner, and I guess you guys see it automatically when we fill it out. What else should we be doing as far as accountability and holding our partners accountable and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, you just need to make a plan with yourself and say like, this is what I'm going to do, and then you can also post it in the group and you can have, each other support you. If you want to, send me a message, me and you can come up with a better plan or something. And we'll just kind of go from there.
Okay. I'll share my plan with you that I have now, and then we can go from there.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, I got to start wrapping up. Any last minute questions? I see some hands that I didn't get to. So, anybody? Last minute questions? All right.
I have a very short question.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Okay, so I was watching this video on YouTube, and they said that wholesaling is banned in Ohio. Is that true?
No. What? In Ohio? Definitely not. The only states you shouldn't wholesale right now is Illinois. Stay away from Philadelphia, and Oklahoma has some weird law that I don't know everything about. But other than that, you should be good to go. Ohio is one of the biggest like wholesale states right now out there, so it's a good market. You just need to call title companies.
I'm just about to get a contract like from Marion, Ohio.
Cool. Yeah, and start calling title companies, finding a good one that's going to work with you.
What about attorney state?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean,
thank you so much.
Attorney states are just kind of the same thing as like a title company. It's just instead of a title company, it's just an attorney. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know the differences because most title companies are owned by lawyers and attorneys. So it's just different at closing, apparently. So they got to be at closing or something like that. So it's the same deal, though. You just got to call around and find a good one to work with.
Okay, and they just charge a certain fee, right?
Yeah, but the fee's usually at the end of the deal.
And that's taken out of the deal, or we have to pay that up front?
No, I always make the buyer pay that. Usually.
Okay.
Either the buyer pays it or the buyer and the seller split.
Oh, cool. Okay, that was one of my main concerns because I'm like, damn, like now I got to get an attorney on my side or something, so.
Yeah, no, you just got to have somebody who's going to help you with the paperwork, like you were saying. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you, man. You're a big help, man. I follow you big time, man. You keep this shit straight. Excuse my, language, but we keep everything real on here. You're a freaking big help, man.
I appreciate it, man.
You don't BS. You don't BS around anything, So I really enjoy that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And go tell Hamza that. So give me a raise or some shit.
Okay, cool. No,
do it. I want to help you out too, man. And like,
you're freaking awesome.
Yeah, with the paperwork, you just gotta kind of fuck around with it. See if your wife can help you download it, and then like figure out how you're gonna send it to people. And it's just something you gotta get used to. I wasn't good at paperwork or contracts at all when I first started. It just kind of had to happen in order for me to get people to do stuff. So just try and do that, and then put out some messages, and I'll try and make some more videos too on how to fill out contracts and stuff like that. So.
All right, cool. Thank you, man. Thank you for the meeting.
Yeah, no problem, everybody. Hope you guys had a good day. I got to hop off of here, though. I got another call. So everybody take it easy. Adam W., I think you had your hand up, though. Do you have any last little questions, or are you good?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I've been having trouble getting seller leads, but I've got plenty of buyer leads. So if any of y'all want a JV in North or Central Alabama, I've got buyers galore.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, there's a lot of good buyers. Like I said, Huntsville, Birmingham, Mobile are like the areas. And I know Mobile, you got to get the deals, but that's a good market to do $0 marketing. And then around Birmingham, like I can never say that place is Beesmere, Hoover, Irondale. Like those are some other good markets that you can get some deals with $0. And I know because I do it. And like that'd be good. So keep fishing, man.
I've had a few leads from Bessemer, but they all want an arm and a leg for a full gut property. So
yeah, that sucks, man. But yeah, I'll keep you in mind, and maybe we'll be able to find you some deals.
All right, appreciate it.
No problem. All right, peace out, everybody.